WAYWO.
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 Way.
What are you working on?
What are you
working on?
Whoa.
Hi, Greg.
Oh, that's too early.
Oh, okay.
I feel like there needs to be a lead up.
Dun 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 dun.
Much better.
Dun 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 dun.
This is the start of it. The beginning of the end.
This is the release of the Kraken.
This is what we've planned for months.
Well, years actually.
I guess. Well, no. How long?
Well, I was
long
born January 15th, 2019.
I was also born January 15th, 2019.
Get out!
Unbelievable.
Oh
Happy
my
birthday!
God. Happy birthday!
Unbelievable. What a day. But actually, no. We met. When did you start working where we work?
Well, first of all, my name is Alex,
And my name is Greg.
and we're here to talk about anything.
It's the beginning of the end.
It's the beginning of the end.
Of my young career, and by young I mean not
By young,
even-
I mean I had a facelift at the age of 29.
Well, you're from Jersey, so I mean it's
Well,
not,
honey,
yeah, exactly.
it's like your birthday present, really.
Well, I mean,
Instead
you've
of-
made a lot of time. Well, you had your birthday at 20, or you had your facelift at 29, and you were born today. I mean, there's a lot going on, Marty.
There's a lot to catch up to. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that as
Well,
the
yeah, we'll-
podcast goes on. It's
As the wagon
we're
wheel
gonna serialize
Watusi
it.
keeps rolling,
yeah, exactly.
we will get into my facelift.
No, I mean, we've said our names, but I feel like we haven't really announced our presences. Alex turned into a Gundam.
I'm a switchblade.
I can
sister.
introduce you, and you can introduce me.
Let's do that.
I feel like-
how would you describe me, Greg, to the general public?
I would say that you unsuspectedly have a very warped and childish mind. That's probably the first thing that I would say. I just didn't. I don't think. I expected you would be a fun person, but when you first walked into our office, I did not really. I also thought you were like way younger. I thought you like just emerged from the eggshell that is college.
Yeah, I get that a lot.
But
But I was born today, so I don't get
that's
that.
true. Yeah, of course. So definitely a bit of a
But thank you.
novice
That's very
in the
nice
world.
of you to say.
Yeah, I think that's the first thing.
Yeah.
What about me?
When I first met you, I thought he seems very intelligent, and
Oh, stop.
I know this sounds really weird, but for like a split second, I thought, is Greg hitting on me? But then I'm like, no, he's not.
Wow.
But
I
for like-
never knew that until today. This is breaking news.
Yeah. But it was
Um,
just like a split second. But then once we really started talking, I was like, he's really funny too.
Oh, wow. I think you're flirting with me right now.
I'm not,
Good.
because
I don't know.
That's-
I don't know
yeah.
how to tell these things anymore. I've
No,
lost
seriously,
all social ability.
these days, I mean, like, you could just say hello to someone and they're gonna
I mean,
think that,
that
you're
actually-
gonna get called transphobic.
maybe. Well,
Maybe I will.
I don't even know where you're going with this. Is the scary part.
Yeah.
That's how tactile I'm being with my words.
I
right
am
now.
incarcerated.
That's not the right word to use either. Tactile is not the right word I was looking for.
Tactile, kind of like a nice
I
blanket.
think I was thinking of tacit, but I probably
I
just shouldn't be
I
using
was
these
thinking of
big
nipple
words anyway.
tassels.
It's just our brains. They start on the same road, and then like I go down one path on the fork, and then you just go into the forest.
I rear off the cliff.
You're in the ocean. But your car becomes a submarine, so it does.
Yeah.
It continues on. You're not
It's
dead.
cool. It's really cool.
But no, I was gonna say to the flirtation thing, something like that did actually happen to me. That was really disappointing this past weekend. So as you know, I among the many projects that I'm taking on right now, I'm working on a book, a nonfiction book, and
Yes, you are.
I met at like a function, at a Jewish function. That's the first thing that you will come to know about me, is I'm quite Jewish.
He's very Jewy.
And I met this other Jewish educator,
Yeah.
and she was just like, "Oh God, Hebrew school's the worst." And I was like, "It is the worst. Like it's really, really awful. I'm working on this thing. Can you do you want to sit down sometime and tell me all of your stories, like all
of
just
your
your whole experience?" I
dark
want to
secrets.
interview her essentially, because I'm going to eventually start interviewing more and more people. And she said, yeah, that sounds great. She asked me if I keep Shabbat, if I keep the Sabbath because of electronics. And I was like, no, we're all good. We can put, numbers into phones. Sweet, sweet, sweet. And because this seemed like a really good lead, and like, I will say, like, she is a very attractive lady. She seemed really smart. She's about my age. Like, sure, I think if I was in a different mindset, maybe I would have flirted with her. But this was really about work.
Yeah.
And I followed up at the same event. I didn't know when she was leaving, so I was like, hey, I don't know when you're going, but please find me before you do because I would love to swap info.
Swap
and she
semen.
she said yes, and then she looked at her friend who I'd also spoken to earlier, and they exchanged this look as if like, oh, that was weird, which I didn't think it was all that weird. And then lo and behold, they left without giving me the email. And it's just really disappointing because it's like, I hope that you didn't think that I was flirting. Like, I really hope it was an out of sight, out of mind thing. But I can't help but think that, like, we've reached this point, and don't worry, folks, this isn't going to, like, end up being some, like, weird Ben Shapiro surrogate podcast. But, like, I was just like, it's gotten to this point where I think when you talk about people being so careful about stuff, that nobody ends up communicating things that are gray area.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, I don't think that it was like necessarily the appropriate thing to be like, are you hitting on me? Because that's not what I'm into. And it wouldn't be necessarily appropriate for me to be like, hey, I'm not hitting on you. This is for work. Like, you'd think it doesn't have to be said.
But sometimes.
But I guess if you're really unsure and somebody seems like they are trying to get your attention for something, you should probably clarify it. Maybe with the person that hosted both of us. I would have hoped that like she would have reached out and be like, hey, is he like single? Is he straight? Is he like, just like to get all the details, even if it wasn't explicitly like, is he hitting on me? Because now I don't have that contact. I'll pursue it and like be like, hey, you remember I was talking about that book? But it's weird. And I don't know. That's just like one of the many things that I have experienced in the past week that have just been these bizarre things. I mean, if it sounds like I'm tired, it's because I am. I just came off of work, like, which is a whole other thing that we don't even need to talk about. We will eventually, but so to give you a little backstory and more to who we are as hosts, taking you on this journey, and so we can eventually get to the thesis of what we're talking about.
Yeah, because this is the hero's journey, honey.
I am definitely a Joseph Campbell fan. So.
Me too. Toot toot, honk honk.
It's not even a good fire truck. Just upsetting.
It's a 3-alarm fire in my head.
All aboard, toot toot. The hero's journey. But we work in television here in New York City. We are recording right now from Brooklyn, New York. But we work in Manhattan at a television company. And it's weird. It breaks all the rules of kind of the conventions of a television company.
But at the same time, it keeps all the barriers up.
Like it's basically you take like a bitch job in TV so that, you kind of get ground down to a pulp of a person, but eventually someone scoops up those shards of your soul and puts a couple pieces back together and maybe gives you a job. Or if they don't find you useful, they toss you out. I don't think any assistant or anyone in that capacity at a television company lasts more than 6 months because they either get promoted or they get not asked to leave, but like, hey, we don't see any role for you here, and try your luck somewhere else. That's not how our company works in any way, shape, or form. I believe that clocks, if they don't run slower, they just don't run at all in our building.
Time stops.
It's really strange, and you'll learn, dear
it might
listener,
be the fifth dimension
over time how strange our office is.
But despite that, I personally feel very good in other areas of my life.
Oh, so that leads into a really great question, which is the namesake of this podcast, which I will say in the most dignified manner I possibly can. Wait, what?
WAYWO.
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 WAYWO. Hello, Diane.
Hello, Diane.
Hello, Diane. Goodbye, Brenda. That's a little thing we
Goodbye,
do.
Brenda.
It's a thing we do.
It's what we do.
It's what we do. There are many people that you can say salutations to, and you can play along too. Just say to your friend, "Hello, Diane," and hope that they say it back.
Hopefully it'll catch on.
Hopefully, you've heard it here. Hello, Diane is from this podcast, from the WAYWO podcast. WAYWO
WAYWO.
stands for "What are you working on?"
What are you working on?
So, Alex, you're very busy.
I'm a busy
And
girl.
in a good way.
Oh, yeah.
You're really up in the like bad bitch, like gay icon podcaster right now.
Yeah.
It's a new thing.
Yeah. I mean, like, mentally, I'm wearing a really tight latex skirt suit.
Is it like black, like BDSM
Yeah.
latex?
But underneath is just fat and like Band-Aids and liver spots.
So, I mean.
But it's okay.
It's like from, I guess it's just like, I don't know. I guess it's what's his name? Clive Barker. It's a Clive Barker novel.
Yeah.
So your life is a Clive Barker novel, but things are going well.
Things are going swell.
Okay. So what are you working on?
So I'm currently writing a feature film.
Okay.
And I have completed about 3 drafts of the script, and I'm doing some rewrites now. And my plan is to submit that to various screenwriting contests to get some traction and notoriety. And of course, shop it around to producers, see what I can do to raise money and get it produced. This is one of the first things that I've written by myself that I really, truly feel such love and passion for, and it really genuinely excites me.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
So for listeners to get a better sense of who you are, you're primarily a writer, or do you consider yourself both a writer and a director, or a writer and a cinematographer? Because I know you're filming a lot. Like, there's our office job, but you get freelance gigs and you're shooting stuff here and there.
Yeah. Any freelance gigs I'm doing are sort of like PA work or sort of production assistance work.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning like producing assistance, like line producing or things of that nature, which is fine, but ultimately the dream, the fantasy that I want to live is writing and directing.
Mm-hmm. And for context, how long would you, like, this is a big thing for me. How long, so a couple questions. One, just simply, how long have you been in New York City? And then second, so how long have you, actually real quick, how long have you been in New York City? That's part A.
About a year and a half.
Okay.
Almost 2 years.
Gotcha. So about 2 years in the city, which we can consider like your career move, even though you are from New Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not the point. And you went to college in Jersey too, so at least you were close to the city. But
my professional connections and establishment is here.
And like post grad, moved to New York, even though you still live in Jersey. You live in what, like Jersey City?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're just
On
putting salt in the wound.
What street?
But but you still live in
what building number? What bed?
So if you go to the dumpster behind the Dunkin' Donuts at the Journal Square Path Station, that's my house.
By the way, quick shout out
left side. Don't go to the right side
because that's Dunkin' Donuts by our office on 55th, between 55th and 56th Street in Midtown. That's all I'm going to say. I won't go exact location for our office. So many screaming fans would just be out there. It'd be like the movie Help and Hard Day's Night just combined. But basically, the Dunkin' Donuts is a refuge for me. It's a sanctuary. I'm working on it. I'm trying not to eat. I'm trying not. No, all of the employees there are super nice, and they're my friends now. I've been in New York much longer. I mean, I grew up here, but in terms of being back for like my professional stuff, it's been a lot longer.
Yeah.
And I've known those Dunkin' Donuts people for a good 3 years.
Yeah.
And they know me. But anyway, I want to focus back on what you were talking about. So you've now been in New York 2 years, but here's my bigger question, which kind of opens up more of a philosophical, semantic idea that I try to really push and that I wanted us to put into this podcast, which is how long do you consider your career to have started, or to like the length of your career? I'm not speaking very eloquently right now, but when would you or how long would you say you have been a professional filmmaker or a professional screenwriter, if at all?
Well, I guess it's difficult to say what is professional. I mean,
Well, boy, do I have an answer for you. But continue.
at least in my point of view. But in my mind, I've always been professional. But I have not yet gotten maybe representation or a bigger project produced outside of school thus far. But I've always been someone that's wanting to practice my craft and do as much as I can. So I'm building up to my professional career every day.
Mm-hmm.
So
So that's how you kind of look at your career right now. Like you don't necessarily consider yourself a pro. You like when you introduce yourself to
no.
people and they ask what you do for work, what do you say?
Well, I say that I have an assistant day job, but my passion is screenwriting and directing.
Interesting. So I answer that question very differently. I mean, given we are at different places in our career and we do different things, but when I was really only focused on writing and filmmaking, for example,
Yeah.
I had this weird kind of switch go off in my brain when I left New York, like when I left the traditional American system in a way. And I'm sure we can get into this story eventually because I've jumped all over the world. Let me adjust my crown. But
Been around the world, and
I was in a movie with Steve Coogan and Jackie Chan. No, so
you heard it here.
But yeah, so I had worked in advertising my first job out of college, which was a nightmare. I went to film school. I've known that I've wanted to work in at least the movies, if not art in general, since I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
Prior to that, I wanted to be a witch hunter, and before that, I wanted to be a pirate.
I wanted to be an ice road trucker, but I was born today, so.
What's weird about that is like when I was choosing my major, my advisor was like, "Are you sure you don't want to at least minor in pirate?" But anyway, so I graduated and I was convinced that you can work an adjacent, and I'm doing real big air quotes when I say
big
adjacent. That's like flapping my
They're
arms like
huge.
a seagull.
Yeah.
But that you can work in an adjacent industry and still work on your craft and build up this professional reputation, et cetera. And that's how you make it. You have to make sure you can support yourself. And there is definitely an unhealthy idea of what support yourself means, which I will gladly talk about. But I didn't write a single thing besides the copy that I was asked to write. And
Really?
it was awful. I was like completely creatively stifled. But when I left, and there's so many people, especially if you're 22 years old, 22, 23, and you're now out in the wide world. And I don't really give into this idea of like adulting and like college is a bubble. Like, I don't know, just you're hopefully exposed to the outside world nowadays. I wonder with social media, but like nonetheless, it's scary out there. And everybody is, especially in New York, basically fighting for dominance. And I think the best people are the ones who don't treat it like it's some kind of rat race that's like, I'm going to focus on me and what I'm doing. And if I can help people that are making good stuff, I will.
I completely agree with that.
But the majority of people are like, if you're a writer, how many credits do you have on IMDb?
Exactly.
And I'm like, well, my without a box account allows me to have 5.
Hello.
But that's such a great loophole. But the point being that I really felt low about everything. And I left the country for a little bit, which is a larger story. And I spent a lot of my time lying on a bed hungover, but I was just like ingesting information, a lot of whatever was going on in pop culture. And I was meeting a lot of people where I was, and I was trying to network for film stuff. But the big thing was like I was writing again, and I was writing a lot, and I was getting stuff done.
Yeah.
And it feels good when you finish a project, when you finish a piece,
It feels fantastic.
even if it doesn't necessarily make you money then and there. That's obviously the weird thing about entertainment is you can make an entire feature and not see a single dollar from it until someone picks it up or something like that.
Nothing is guaranteed.
There's nothing guaranteed in
Nothing.
entertainment or art, and I'm now straddling
Or in
both of
life,
them.
baby.
Hey-o.
Oh, toot toot.
Oop. And then I just burp, like this, a little vomit comes up.
Ooh, yeah.
It's the worst kind.
It's the best kind. What are you talking
So
about?
gross. But anyway, to try and stay somewhat serious, I had this moment where I was like, I might not be making money off this, and
Yeah.
eventually I would make a little money here and there, but I'm still finishing something that I feel proud of to a degree.
Absolutely.
I'm completing something, and that is a reward in itself.
Yeah.
So, I'm making these things with a professional attitude for professional purpose. When you're in arts and entertainment, you produce things and you then need to push it out there, promote, et cetera, et cetera. But just because it hasn't been picked up doesn't mean that it counts for nothing. And so for me, there was a big shift in my brain where I was like, okay, there are aspiring artists and artists. And the only difference is that an aspiring artist is literally just aspiring. You ask them, oh, like you're a barista, but do you do anything else? And they say, oh, well, I'm an aspiring writer. Oh, well, what have you written recently? Well, I'm hoping to write when I get free time or whatever. But no, that's the whole reason you took the barista job. And I have been a barista. I'm not trying to come down
So
on
have I.
baristas. Oh, you work in this. The worst is when they have a really well-paying corporate job, and then they're like, yeah, and they're making way more money than people at our level necessarily, and they're like, yeah, I'm an aspiring musician. I was like, oh, well, when's are you playing guitar regularly? Do you have gigs? No. Like, oh, well, do you practice? No. That's aspiring. Now, there's nothing wrong with that necessarily,
But
but the difference is that it's all aspirational. You're just looking forward to it. The opposite is that you're still doing it. And there's the only difference between someone who is day after day working on their craft, preparing it for a record company, a production company, a gallery, whatever it is. The only difference is how much money they're making off of it and how many people know about it. And those are important factors. But something that this podcast that we're starting it for is that people who are out there, we know you're out there because there are thousands.
we see you.
There
we
are
know
thousands of other podcasts, obviously.
you. Yeah.
I was very
listen to this
tentative. I
one.
was very tentative to start a podcast because, are we gonna make a difference are we gonna even make like a ripple?
Honey, I'm going to make a crater-sized
You're
hole.
just gonna get all them dinosaurs extinct.
Again.
We're coming for you again. They're back, not anymore. Was it we're back or they're back?
We're back, the sequel, part 2.
The sequel. But those dinosaurs were real scary when they got all like normal dinosaur and they couldn't talk. This is a very tangential thing, trying to be inspiring, Alex. God damn it. Point being, this podcast, yeah, we're going to fuck around a lot, and
Yeah.
we're going to meet a lot of weird characters that may or may not be real.
You better get ready, Brenda.
But you're also going to meet a lot of other people who are just in our position and people who are, finding success now, who have found success. We want to talk to all different kinds of creative people, or even people that just have really interesting ambitions who are pursuing them to show that, yes, we want to make money. We want to get famous so that we can get more projects and opportunities. We don't give a shit about vanity here. We're going to talk about poop a lot. But
yeah.
but the point being that you out there, hopefully this is the kicker. This is the thing that ropes you in. You are a legitimate artist for whatever it is that you do. Don't let your disapproving parents or jealous friends or whatever the fuck it is tell you that you're not a professional artist just because you're poor or you're not famous yet. Just keep working on it. It's shitty. It sucks. But if you love it as much as we do, we're welcoming you to come into this space and
dump on us.
and just dump all of that stress. Well,
Right
I mean,
here.
you can't really talk to us right now, but metaphorically, we
You can call
create
my
this
hotline, but it will be busy.
Just gonna interrupt any kind of inspiring moment. God damn it. They said if you build it, they will come. And just trying to. Alex is zipping his lips. No, don't get that needle out of your hand. I'm not. No, seriously, like stop.
It's a
Blood
switchblade.
freaks me out. Oh my God, sorry. I just had to cut open these stitches that Alex was stitching his lips shut. It's disgusting.
Yeah, there's blood everywhere.
It's gross. I'm sorry, Charles. Charles is the engineer for this podcast.
Shout out to Charles. Thank you.
Shout out to Charles.
Thank you so much.
He hates us most likely by now. We've kept him for 27 minutes.
It's okay.
Listening
I'll
to
bring
us.
gifts.
This podcast is brought to you by Charles. He'll be annoyed at you for free if you are us. But anyhow, that's the main message of the podcast, hopefully. And I'm undoubtedly going to try and make some soapbox speech every other episode about it. But anyway, coming back to you and then to us, like we became friends because we both share this idea that, you know, whatever you're working on is important.
It is important. And, you know, no matter what circumstances are in your life, I mean, this sounds sort of hoity-toity, you know, frou-frou, rah-rah, but it
Shamalama ding dong.
Shamalama ding dong. It takes a lot of discipline to continue. I mean, part of arts and entertainment is doors being slammed in your face constantly. People saying no, people saying you're not good enough, this, that. I mean, but persistence is key. And if you don't keep persisting and you just give up and settle for whatever, then ultimately you're never going to be happy. And you know, trust me, I've had many, many times where I'm depressed and I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, what am I doing? What's going on? Why aren't I getting the recognition or work that I want to? But
I mean, I'm in the throes of that now really hard. I mean,
But
I'm a little
being
bit older
patient,
than you.
too.
Of course. I mean, I'm a
Being
little bit
patient.
older than you.
You're 29 and 3/4.
I am 28 and a couple months, but I look 72 and I
It's
feel
really
100.
cool.
So I'm like a Benjamin Button situation.
Yeah, I'm 25. I'll be 26 soon, but I look 16.
You do look young, but 25 makes perfect sense to me. I don't know. I feel like that's a weird thing to say. Yeah, I wouldn't give my email to write a book with me. But no, you know, I do have a couple years on you, so I've got this happening to me too for even longer. We both have talked about mental health a lot, and we'll talk about it way more. We both have anxiety and depression issues, and I mean that's another thing, by the way, to say about this podcast is we want to be really open to talking about, you know, just mental health issues, especially in the entertainment community and arts community, without getting too pedantic about it, or, you know, there's that terrible kind of romanticizing about it, where it's like, I need to be fucked up to be a good artist. You don't really.
No.
You don't really need to be anything besides a good artist to be a good artist, and even that is kind of relative. So it's a real mind fuck. So I guess it does cause a mental health problem, which means, oh my God, it's a snake eating itself. But that being said, the doors in your face, that's the good stuff. If you just get a door shut in your face instead of someone actually taking the time to write a scathing review of you. Now, some people deserve it. There has been stuff that I've made that's not good, and it's
Same
good.
here.
It's good to get that critique.
Yeah.
But the unnecessary kind, I mean, it happens. It goes back to that idea of like the jealous friends or the disapproving parent or whatever the archetype is. There are people that get pleasure out of tearing down, especially emerging artists or kind of lower rung artists, because
Those people are simple.
I mean, it's definitely a simple-minded just practice. It's just very selfish.
It is,
and it's usually just a projection of some kind of insecurity
of their own.
I mean, the amount of times that Gallagher has come to my house and told me I'm a shitty comedian.
How many times?
About 12.
Oh man.
Yeah. I think he originally saw us as kindred spirits because I have a receding hairline and he's balding. Or like balded. I guess it's more of a past tense thing. But from there, I mean, that was the only similarity. I don't even have a mallet. But anyhow, I'm going to kind of shut up on this topic for now because it's definitely going to come up a lot. But to give you an idea, oh listener, to this first episode, what you're going to hear more and more of, especially as we start to bring in guests and we start to have a little bit more fun with talking about what we are working on. And it's not just us, it's you. We want to hear from you what you're working on.
Yeah, call us.
Call us on Alex's hotline.
Yeah, I have a hotline. Call me.
777 film. I believe that's it.
For movie times.
Movie phone?
Yeah.
Come on, man. You're not that young. Get your movie phone reference right. Oh, because it's movie. I thought it was like a stupid newspaper. That fake newspaper. This is a terrible.
I'm shaking my head.
It's the disapproval in my ignorance to your joke is just cut worthy, but I doubt we will. Keep it all. Pete Holmes in the house, everybody. Keep it all. Ray Romano impression. No, that's the real serious gist, or a kind of like heartwarming gist of this podcast. That's what WAYWO is all about.
Yeah.
What are you working on is what are you working on professionally? What are you working on creatively? And what are you working on about yourself?
Yeah, personally.
Speaking of which, got any, my phone has been buzzing because Tinder wants me to respond to a match.
Ooh.
Which is like, please stop pushing me. I don't know who they are. It could not work
Please
out.
don't
like
provoke
most of them.
me.
Yeah. But have you, how have the apps been going for you?
So they're really, it's a mixed bag. Tinder overall, I would say, is pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Which apps are you on?
I use Tinder. I do also use Grindr too.
Okay.
Which is just a filth magnet, but it's very fun. You know, it's just it's entertaining, really. I mean, but I don't take it too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
But occasionally there is someone on there.
I
who's
find
like,
Grindr's like the Tumblr, not just because they both hate the letter E, but oh, dad joke coming at you. But I find that like Grindr's kind of like the Tumblr of dating apps because it was like Tumblr was one of those early platforms for image-based social media.
Yeah.
It kind of started it all, and it's kind of real grimy and definitely very gay.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on. I mean, there's just a lot going on Tumblr that Grindr could only imagine. But yeah, and then, you know, Instagram comes on like the Tinder of visual social media.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Shutterfly is plenty of fish. But but yeah.
What's Christian Mingle?
Christian Mingle... what would be the image-based social media platform equivalent to Christian Mingle? Oh man,
Pinterest.
Getty Images, just stock photos.
Yeah.
No, definitely
Pond 5.
Definitely like whatever Yahoo developed, whatever it was.
Anything that they developed.
I don't know what it's called. I don't know if it really exists, but it probably did at one point in a beta form. But
that's cool.
Sorry, so you're on Grindr and Tinder. Anything else? OkCupid?
Oh, so yeah, I am on OkCupid. I think I'm gonna delete that one because to me, that one is getting the least amount of action, activity. It just seems sort of like.
Now, I don't want either of us to sound really pompous about it, but do you have like a lot of people that OkCupid? Because I'm guessing you don't pay for it either.
Oh, I don't pay for that.
I wouldn't pay for it. It's nonsense. I also have an OkCupid that I don't pay for, and it tempts me. You know, like a snake in the Garden of Eden with these like 150, 180 something people like you, and we are not going to tell you who they are.
Nope.
Do you have a number like that?
I have a glowing, not glowing, but you know, I have that hot pink number at the.
Say what it is. I'm sure you got a lot more than me.
Well, not to brag, but it's 783.
Oh my God.
And I don't know who any of them are.
I mean, that's just. Oh my God. I mean, clearly there are a lot of users, but just that's.
I'm like, damn, girl. I mean, half of them are probably like in, you know, Manitoba, you know, so I'm like.
Quick tangent. Canadians are horny as fuck.
It's so cold. They just want to have
that whole,
sex.
what was that website for if you want to cheat on your wife? Ashley Madison? I think it's a Canadian site,
based.
but like the majority of the clients were Canadian, and it was a big stir in Canada. Whereas here, it was just kind of like, oh wow, that's scandalous. But there, it's like this has destroyed lives.
Oh my
All
God.
of Winnipeg is going through a divorce. But anyway, besides the Canadians, I mean, it's cold. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not much to do. So okay, so you've got over 750 people
And
are enamored with you on OkCupid.
Oh my God.
Do you do their cheap Tinder thing, their swipe based whatever?
I've entertained it.
It's a
okay.
game.
It's okay.
Um,
You can, those types of things, you just get sucked into it, and it just
it's awful. I mean,
oh
I mean, I'm a hypocrite. I
I
have
know.
these apps and I
Yeah.
take part in them, but I really don't like dating that way.
I know.
It's really awful. And
If there are any single boys out there, not boys, that sounds disgusting. If there's any single men, I date men, I don't date underage boys, okay? Here to
clarifying
that.
this.
Yeah. Talk to me at the bar.
Yeah,
Don't swipe right or whatever. Just talk to me in person.
I mean, I used to justify, especially swipe-based online dating, as like, well, that's what I do in my head when I am out in person.
Yeah,
and
to
it's
some extent.
and it's almost better because I can check out a girl at the bar, and like in my mind, I confirm like, yes, I find this person attractive.
Yeah.
And I wonder what they think, and I might miss them. They might walk out. It might be just in the like we cross paths.
Yeah.
And Tinder gives you the ability like, oh, they checked me out too, and now it's confirmed they find me attractive.
Yeah.
But that's clearly just me. Other people, it's like it's vanity. It's just like a game.
Yeah.
It's a pastime. And yes, I have swiped on the toilet many a time.
Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
I actually thought that I met the love of my life
on the toilet.
On the toilet, yeah.
Oh.
Was really looking forward to
That's
telling
sweet.
my future kids that story. But yeah,
I met mommy while pushing out a turd.
Basically, and then they'll be like, "What's a turd? We have no food in this post-apocalyptic,
this post
9/11
9/11 world."
I'm gonna be a parent after I build a time machine and go back to September 12th, 2001. But part of the reason why I bring up online dating is because I don't know if you've ever considered doing this. I have done it, and I'm thinking of going back to doing it. Just being on Tinder to promote my work.
Yeah.
So to give you a little
Shameless
backstory,
plugging.
because that's something that we welcome on this podcast. Just don't be a dick about it. Don't be super thirsty about it. We want to promote our work. We want to promote our guests' work, and just in general stuff that we think is really cool out there. Why not get more eyes on it, or ears, or whatever?
Just don't be an asshole.
Just don't be a jerk about it. I really don't like advertising and marketing in that way, where it's just pushing upon you. And I know that there are plenty of people who are like, well, that's like that's like self-sabotage, but I make things that I hope other people will like, and I want people to genuinely enjoy them and not feel pressured to do it.
Yeah.
But I did. So you didn't ask me any questions about myself, which is fine. I'm not offended in any way.
Here we go.
At all.
The knives are being thrown
all.
at me. Oh, Greg, do you use dating apps?
You said you would ask me. So I do a lot of different stuff, but primarily now I'm focused on writing and producing, as well as visual art, and I am a painter here in Brooklyn. And
he's a great painter.
Thank you.
I'm not just saying that.
You are.
Well, I am saying it, but I'm not just saying it.
Thank you. But so it's really like, besides Instagram, there's no other way to truly kind of send out my paintings into the ether. You know, that's the great thing about Instagram. You make a post and add a couple hashtags, and you hope that just some random person in Kazakhstan or Seoul or wherever you are is flipping through, and they also wanted to see like Van Gogh, Van Gogh. But so it's really great. But I wanted more platforms for it, so I made my entire Tinder profile just paintings. There were no images of me, and it was a really cool little experiment.
Did you get
people
likes?
did swipe on me.
That's awesome.
And some of them did follow me on Instagram. Some people I did actually talk to. I generally didn't interact with anyone.
Yeah.
If they messaged me, I would only message if they messaged me first, or if they were another artist and they wanted a network. But it was a cool little experiment.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh wait, I forgot. Like painting is lonely. Let me try date again. But yeah, online dating is a weird fucking world.
It's a little weird. Do you have this experience where you have matches with people and they just don't message you at all?
Oh yeah, tons of all the time.
Like, what the hell is
and
that
I know that I
about?
look like a cross between the Cat in the Hat and Quasimodo, but yeah,
It's charming.
why did you swipe on me in the first place?
Yeah, yeah.
We're just two white men making our opinions heard. We're angry in this post Me Too world. We don't
this
get
post
it.
9/11 world,
This
I'm pissed.
This post 9/2 world. Me 11. People will hate our podcast, but some
they
might like
won't.
it.
No, they won't.
I'll take the likes if I'll take all of the hatred if there are a few likes. That's my rule in comedy. Is I just need one person in the audience to laugh at the joke, and I keep it in my act.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, we're good.
It's kind of like an
people.
American God situation. Like, it just needs one person to believe, and then that's it.
That, like, you know how Lady Gaga was doing press for A Star Is Born? She's like, there'll be 100 people in the room and 99 of them don't believe in you, but there's that one that believes in you. And she said it like 40 times. There's like some compilation video of every press junket. She says the same quote.
That's one thing.
I'm like, oh, wow, she was trained well for the media.
I obviously want to be out there. I want to be worthy of a press junket. Like, I want to have the
We
opportunities.
can start our own press
I will
junket
just
on the corner.
Just like sneak into venues and conventions where we make our own badges that we just scribble credentials
With crayon
on.
and Sharpie. Yes, this is me.
I did convince a Somali bouncer in London that I was Jack Black once, but
We need to get into that next week.
next week we'll talk about that story. But yeah, I would never want. They sound horrible, where you are given kind of like your choice of 5 anecdotes
Yeah.
and comments on the movie, and then
Or
you
the
just
album
go
or
from
whatever.
place to place to place to do it.
Yeah.
Shout out to an inspiration, Mark Maron. He brings people on who are at the kind of tail end or in the middle of their press junket, and he kind of derails it. And I can always hear when someone like Mark Maron, or even like Comedy Bang Bang, when Scott Aukerman interviews someone who's on their press junket who probably hasn't done, well, you only do Maron once, but who hasn't done one of their podcasts, and they're going into their bits that you would do on like fucking Fallon, which is the worst, or even like Kimmel or Graham Norton. And I'm like, no, you're free. You don't have
Yeah.
to do that.
You're free.
It just feels so forced.
Yeah, no, it does, and
It's,
I mean,
like, it's so forced. So please follow me on Instagram.
in theaters,
Just yeah.
the book is called, like we get.
I don't mind when people make it when they kind of are self-referential about it and they poke fun at it. That's fine to me.
different though. But if it's just like blatant, sort of scripted responses, it's like, okay, we get it.
We get it, which is the perfect segue. You see, I am a master planner, and I always wanted us to come back to this point. I think that we should hang up the towel for now. I think we've given people a lot to think about, and
Time to detox.
it's just kind of vomit into this bin. But
Stay tuned for that. That's
Where-
the after show
that's just 45 other minutes of
of bodily fluids hurling.
just dry heaving, just real. That one's the worst. But just a little bit. I don't feel good.
Stop crying.
But no, I do want people to come back for our next week's show, and we're gonna have a guest on, fingers crossed, who's gonna be a lot of fun. We're gonna have some guests, some guests that you have never heard of at all. I guess that's all of us. You've probably never heard of us, but
No, you've heard of
now
me.
you have.
I'm on every wanted ad.
But that being said, this is the WAYWO podcast. You've heard a little bit about what we are working on, but we are constantly working on stuff, and we want to know what other people are working on too, because we're all one big, happy, dysfunctional family of creative fuckers.
Yeah.
So that being said, thank you for listening to this first episode.
Thank you very much.
You can now see this is why, because now I have to fucking say all the promotional things, which I literally made
Say
our
your
email
press junket
I made our email
response.
and Instagram on the train coming down here to the
Yes.
studio. But you can follow us on Instagram. We are an anti-Twitter podcast. That's right, taking a stance. I know that Instagram is part of Facebook. It's all feeding the demon.
Controversial, I know.
Hot take. Whoa, hot potato. But hold on. But you can follow us on Instagram at WAYWO Pod.
Yeah.
We'll
be there
and
lurking.
we have one post right now.
Yeah, like it.
It's a birthday post. Please like the shit out of it. It's a gender reveal post. You get to see what gender our podcast is.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
But please follow us so that we can keep you up to date with things that we might post here and there. There's an extended universe to this podcast.
Yeah, there's a sixth dimension.
And it does include the Inhumans. And we will try to engage you listeners and our guests in ways beyond just what we record, and really try to create an environment where people want to share what they're doing, what they're working on, and hopefully feel more emboldened to take that leap if they are still in that aspiring stage.
Yeah. If you have something to show, we're here to listen.
Yes. Unless we're booked up for that week.
Yeah, then
and
fuck
then we'll
you.
push it to another week. But we will say fuck you first, and then we'll feel bad about it, and then we'll be like, hey, sorry about that. JK, haven't gotten any sleep, which is a real thing. So follow us on Instagram at WAYWO Pod.
Yeah, do it.
And there will
Please.
also be a Facebook page, which will be something like WAYWO Podcast or WAYWO Pod. Or maybe just, Tyrannosaurus Rex on a motorcycle. But
please,
usually it's going to stay in the WAYWO, something with that. That's WAYWO. What are you working on? And I think we will finally close this whole thing out with a couple rounds of Hello, Diane.
what about goodbye, Brenda?
Well, you've ruined the surprise now.
Oh, fuck.
But
We can redact that.
no, we got to keep it.
Okay.
The people need to know.
Okay.
So hello, Diane.
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 Goodbye, Brenda.
Goodbye, Brenda.
Goodbye, Brenda.
Goodbye, Brenda.
This has been a podcast production for the Okazigo Media Company.